Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. And in this episode, we are talking about the week of June 17th, aka the week that the season changes. Now, no matter where you are, we are entering a new season this week. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a summer solstice. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. Either way, it's the solstice. This marks a pivotal turning point in our year. And I want us to think about this. I want us to go back to the last solstice, the solstice that happened in December. Now, you might also think about the beginning of January because that's often when people make New Year's resolutions or, focus on turning a new leaf or doing new things. And because January 1st falls so closely to December solstice time, I think that it's an energetically really impactful time to think about what we want to begin. Because the solstice is that pivotal moment of kind of like an energetic building and then turning and launching into something new. Just like, the equinoxes are also the initiations of new seasons. So we can think of these 4 points of the year as really important times just to check in with ourselves. We can be very, very practical about this. These are moments to say, like, how am I doing? Where am I? How am I located? Given the fact that I'm moving into a new season, what is it that I need? What does my body need in this season? What does my daily life need in this season? What does my mind need in this season? What do my friendships, what do my communities need in this season? What is the best way to spend this section of the year from now until the equinox? Okay, so there's that piece of it. But again, I want us to think back to the December solstice. And if we planted any seeds of intention at the December solstice, or if we planted seeds of intention for the new year around January 1st. Now we're 6 months away from that. We're 6 months into 2024. We are halfway through the year, y'all. How's it going? Are you living your best life? Are you doing the things that you want to do given the circumstances that you're in? Are you spending your time to the best of your ability, fostering things that bring you a sense of joy and connection and actual meaning in your life? The world is worlding all the time. We live in a situation and compiling situations and many situations that are exceedingly and exceptionally difficult. And to take in the entirety of the world means we have to stretch our heart and our mind to a gargantuan capacity. We are all being called to do that, not ignoring any of that. Given all of that, how are you doing? Given all of that, what are you up to? Given the whole world and your whole life, how's it going with the things that you wanted to do this year? This is the time to look back at those lists or those intentions or those mood boards or those collages and say, yes, I'm on the right track for this thing. Yes, I'm still doing this thing. Or like, wow, I had a totally different idea for what I wanted to do with this year 6 months ago, and I don't want any of that. So I'm going to compost this entire section. And if you didn't plant any seeds of intention, you didn't set any, intentions for the year, great. Also, good time to do a check-in. What does your body need? What do your friendships need? What does your community need? What do you need? What does your mind need? What does your daily life need? What does your, creative life need? If you're working, what does your work life need at this time? Because we're shifting into a new season, it's a reminder that we are turning a corner, that there's something new happening, and we want to mark that with some thoughtfulness, or at least we can mark that with some intention and thoughtfulness. So, happy solstice. The solstice is a time always for celebration. Solstices, equinoxes, they're a really good time to gather with friends and family and do something that is, again, just marking the quality of time. Time passes so quickly, quicker every year of our life. And so taking these moments to say I want to be just intentional about how I spend this day and just use the sun in the sky and the seasonal shift to make a concerted effort to say, this is how I want to spend time today or this week, right? So you don't have to think about just the day of the solstice, but this whole week we're shifting from one type of light to the next, from one season to the next. And that has an impact on us. Okay, so the solstice happens on the 20th of June. That is just like a general time thing. Now let's talk about the actual astrology of the week. On the first day of the week, on Monday, the 17th, we have a momentary glitch in the matrix. You might be feeling this on Sunday. You might be feeling this before the week starts. Mercury makes a square to Neptune. Fine. Things get mushy. Sentiments go out the window. We might start the week on a little bit of a sloppy kind of sentiment or situation. There might be a little bit of a mess that we're cleaning up at the beginning of the week. And things might be hard to pin down, things like details and times and dates. So just double, triple check your data. I will say that Mercury moves in to Cancer on this day as well and meets up with Venus. And so things work out. Things get really cute. It's also a beautiful day to send notes of appreciation and of affection. And it's a good day to receive them as well. So please be very open to the sentiments that come towards you that are loving and appreciative. What do you do when you get complimented? Do you deflect? Could you try to just take it in today and say thank you and just keep it moving? Could you try to receive the appreciation and love that comes towards you today? Okay, then we've got, again, the solstice on Thursday, the 20th. And we've also got right before the solstice. Well, the solstice is the full day, right? But right before the sun moves into Cancer, marking actual Cancer season, it also squares Neptune. So there are these points in the week, like Monday and Thursday, that are a little less specific. They're not so good with the details. They might require a little bit of patience if we're trying to be linear about things or get things done. And also, they're a good day to indulge in a little old-fashioned escapism and maybe even altruism. But it's definitely a beautiful time to be like, I'm just going to read a romance novel all day, or I'm going to indulge in whatever it is that helps me to feel a kind of sense of escape or release. And doing it in a conscious way is always great. So on Friday, we have a full moon. So not only is it the solstice this week, but it's a full moon right after the solstice. So when we have these two things together, when there's both the change of a season and then a new, or in this case, a full moon, we know that there's a culmination and a call to action and a mark of change. And so I love this for us because it is, again, a kind of galvanizing event that helps us to see something clearly. And again, the clarity that it brings is something to do with the change that we are undergoing. And it's the first of two full moons that will happen in Capricorn. So the next full moon will be at the very, very edge of Capricorn, almost into Aquarius. And, a couple minutes after it is full, it goes into Aquarius. But this is the first of two moments of emphasis in the part of our chart that contains Capricorn. So go listen to your weekly reading because I talk all about what this could mean for you. And just know that there's going to be another emphasis in this area of your chart and of your life a month from now. And in a lot of ways, I really like this full moon. There's a lot that's going for it. There's a lot here to work with. And a full moon in Capricorn is always going to want to be industrious. It's always going to want to be solving a problem or figuring out a strategy to get to where we need to go. And so in a lot of ways, it's really helpful. And because we're in Cancer season, we know that nourishing and self-parenting is always a good thing to focus on because that's Cancer's deal. And Capricorn is a harder sign for the moon to be in. So we want to just layer our lives with a little extra reparenting of self. Like, what do I actually need to feel bolstered and more like set up for success in my life? What can I do? What do I have the power to do in terms of my own care? I also really like this full moon because there's nothing that is impeding it from doing its thing. So again, it is a really good full moon to reflect on, especially because it's happening around the solstice and it's a full moon in Capricorn. Reflect on our list, our goals. And I hope that a lot of those goals is about feeling good in our life, feeling energized, feeling connected, feeling like we're really fostering deep relationships that nourish us, that we're doing work in the world, that we're offering our gifts to the world in a way that feels like we're contributing to healing and justice. I hope that those are like paramount always. So it doesn't have to be like, I made this amount of money and I did this in my business life or whatever. But it is also a really good full moon for just being exceptionally practical in terms of looking at what it is we've done, what it is we want to get done, how we want to use the next and last 6 months of 2024. This is a TikTok. Time is going, whether you are or not. What are you doing with your time, and how are you focusing on the quality of your time, the quality of connections, the quality of your efforts, the quality of life that you want to live? This is the moment to do so. And then on Saturday, Mercury, the planet of communication, makes a square, so is in a relationship of friction, but also it spurs it into action with the nodes, which is where eclipses happen. So we're in that kind of like pivotal moment, or we might be having conversations that feel like they help us to see one thing or another, or they help us to like broaden our perspective. And we could be having conversations or receiving information that shifts something in our life. Not all of us, but I would just pay attention to what it is we're learning, what it is we're talking about, what it is we're listening to over the course of the weekend, because it has something to do with events in our life that shape the direction of how we go. So, and it might also be that there's conversations kind of at large that have to do with what happened in April and what will happen in like October-ish kind of area of life, September, October-ish. Thank y'all so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. They're so much fun to read. They really lift our spirits. We send them around in an email every Friday. And they also really help the company. It's just one of the best ways to help spread the word about the app, because people read reviews. I don't know about you. I read reviews all the time. And when I read a positive review, it really helps me to understand a product. So we just cherish every single moment that it takes you to write them and to leave them. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to leave you with this one. It's called An Astro Nerd's Bestie. This is so much more than an app. It's a mirror into the psyche, a scrapbook of the senses, and an astro nerd's bestie. I check this app in the morning like I check the weather. It's visually stunning, easy to navigate, and wholeheartedly awesome. The love and time put into this little corner of the web is so seen and appreciated. Thank you for creating this space. All right, y'all, that is the read. This is the situation. We are moving into solstice. It is a reason for a celebration. It is paired with a really helpful, productive full moon in Capricorn. And I hope that the productiveness of it is, as always, really helpful in terms of getting us to prioritize the things that matter most to us, that keep us in our integrity, and that also help us to build a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling to us. Venus is opposing this full moon. So again, centering relationships. Mercury and Venus meet up at the beginning of the week. Tell your people you love them and you appreciate them and that they've done a great job and what is so great about knowing them and why you want to hang out with them later. Make sure that you are available for the sweetest connections in your life. And don't be afraid to cut things from your intention setting, from your to-do list, from your goals. We change. This is about us changing. This is about seasonal change, personal change. It's okay to scrap some things, put it in the compost heap, and just keep going with what feels the most energetically aligned for you at this time. Happy solstice. I'm sending you so much love, many blessings. Next week, come back because we're going to talk about Saturn stationing retrograde and what it takes to manifest our dreams. Bye for now.